They said I was too emotional, that I couldn't be trusted to raise my own daughter. My own mother sat behind my ex in court, smiling like she'd already chosen a side. And then I saw it, him grabbing her wrist hard right there in front of the judge. That's when everything changed. Please stay with me until the end. There are things I never imagined I'd uncover, and choices I never thought I'd have to make. And if you find yourself quietly nodding through this, subscribe. It tells me I'm not alone, and maybe neither are you. It started with a fruit tart. That should have been the first sign. My mother only bakes it when she's trying to impress someone, when she wants to look effortless and composed. She places it gently on the table, smiling like the world is simple, like we're all just playing pretend in a magazine ad, and I always fall for it. That afternoon was my birthday. The paper napkins were pastel-colored, the wine was cheap, and my father had already told his classic hardship monologue, how he built a life from nothing, as if we hadn't all watched him blow through my mother's savings during his early retirement phase. My sister Sable brought balloons and smiled too wide, like she hadn't been screaming at her kids all morning. It was the usual brand of chaos, the kind you stop noticing once you've lived in it long enough. Familiar scents, old candle wax, overcooked chicken, a whiff of my mother's citrus perfume. The television murmured in the background. Someone was always mid-complaint, and I played along, smiled like I wasn't exhausted, laughed in the right places, kept my shoulders relaxed and my voice breezy. Because that's what I was trained to do. You grow up learning how to survive your own family. It's a language unspoken but strict. Don't challenge. Don't confront. Don't draw attention to what you're feeling. Play light. Be small. Blend in. I did all of that until my phone rang. I blinked when I saw the screen. Lily. My daughter never called me from the same house. She usually just appeared at my elbow asking for juice or Wi-Fi passwords or a hug. But this time, she called. Her voice came out as a whisper. Get out. Now. I froze. The room didn't stop, but the air shifted. My stomach dropped like someone had knocked the floor out beneath me. Lily. What happened? I asked, already standing. Just get out of the house, she whispered, trembling. Please. Right now. I didn't ask questions. I didn't say goodbye. I walked out. Past the fruit tart, past the wine glasses, past my mother's tight smile, and my father's tired eyes. I didn't even glance at the door or grab my shoes, just moved, like my body knew something my mind hadn't caught up to yet. Outside, the air was warm. There was a faint smell of freshly cut grass and perfume wafting from the open windows. Lily stood by the driveway, backpack on one shoulder, staring straight at me. She wasn't crying. But her eyes looked hollow. I ran to her. What happened? Are you okay? I asked, breathless. She didn't answer, just said, Can we go? We got in the car. Quietly, without a word. No one followed. No one shouted after us. I drove until we reached the parking lot behind an old garden center. It was abandoned, tucked behind a row of trees. I parked and turned to face her. We're alone now. Tell me what happened. She stared straight ahead, her voice flat. I don't want to go back. Not to Grandma, not to Grandpa, not to that house. Never again. It felt like someone had reached inside me and wrung out my lungs. I whispered, why she shook her head. Please don't make me go back. I didn't ask again. I just nodded. I won't. We sat there in silence. Her hand fidgeted in her lap. I kept my eyes on the steering wheel, my knuckles white. My heart was pounding not from fear, but from something else. Shame, panic, confusion. I should have known. I lived in that house. I knew those people. So how had I missed it? What could possibly make my 8-year-old daughter call me from the same house and beg me to run? But the truth is, this wasn't the beginning. Not really. It was just the spark that lit everything on fire. Before all of this, there was a whole life. A slow, quiet suffocation. The kind you survive for so long you start to think it's just how things are. Let me tell you how we got here, because betrayal doesn't always come with fangs. Sometimes it sounds like your mother laughing from the kitchen while plotting how to take your child away. It wasn't always this bad, and that's the part that still haunts me, because I used to believe that one day they'd see me, that all the effort, the keeping quiet, the doing what was right, it would count for something. That family meant safety. But in my house, being the eldest daughter didn't make me a leader. It made me the test subject, the one they could push harder, the one who owed them everything and asked for nothing. When I got my first job at a local bakery, elbow deep in flour before sunrise, I came home proud. I thought they'd be happy for me. They were, but not because of what I achieved, because I could finally start paying bills. We all contribute in this house, my mother said, already eyeing my paycheck. I handed over half of it, every week, quietly. Even when I couldn't afford the jeans I'd been eyeing for months, my sister Sable. When she reached the same age she got to sleep in, go shopping. Not once was she asked to work. When I asked why, my mother shrugged. She's just not built the same way as you, she said, like I was a kitchen appliance and Sable was fine china. So I swallowed it. Because that's what you do. You convince yourself you're noble. That sacrifice is strength. That carrying the weight makes you worthy. I told myself it didn't matter because I had plans, a future. I went to college, got a job, built a career. I married a man named Daniel. Quiet, thoughtful, charismatic in the soft-spoken, sweater-wearing kind of way. I thought I was lucky. Turns out, I just hadn't read the fine print. Daniel worked part-time, said he wanted to be more involved in Lily's life. I didn't mind. I liked my job better than liked it. It gave me identity, purpose. And besides, I thought if we were a team, why question the balance? But balance can be deceiving, especially when it slowly starts tipping. Daniel grew moody, withdrawn. He'd sulk for hours over a misplaced dish or a dinner he didn't like. The house became heavy. The air changed. Lily was only 6, but she felt it too. She stopped humming when she colored. She started asking if it was okay to speak. And then came the night of the bottle. He didn't throw it at anyone. He just threw it. Across the room. And it shattered right as Lily walked into the hallway. She dropped her mug. Flinched so hard I thought her bones might snap. I looked at her face, and something in me finally cracked. Not all at once, but in that instant I realized we are not safe. I packed a bag, took my daughter, and walked out. No yelling, no drama, just silence. The kind that means you're done. I didn't have many choices. We moved back into my parents' house, the one place I swore I'd never return. And technically they welcomed us. But it was clear from the start this wasn't charity. This was a transaction. I had given them years of money vacation support. Now the well was dry, and it showed. They never said it out loud. But the sighs over groceries, the way my father brought up the water bill twice a week, the fact that they didn't add me back to the family group chat, it was all there, in the silence. Sable and her husband lived there too, with 2 wild kids, no rent, and endless praise. My daughter. Her drawings were removed from the fridge by morning. Her cereal was cleared before she finished eating. She started asking me if we'd get our own place soon, and I kept telling her this was temporary. That family helps family, but even I didn't believe that anymore. I took a low-paying part-time gig just to keep up. Couldn't afford daycare, so I juggled everything. Court hearings, trauma counseling, late-night sobbing, and through it all, my parents just watched. Until the day Lily called me. Until the day she whispered, "Get out now." But even then, I didn't know the full story. Not yet. I thought maybe someone had been cruel. I didn't imagine betrayal. Not from them. But I was wrong. And the truth was uglier than I ever expected. Because betrayal doesn't need fists or raised voices. Sometimes it speaks through kitchen walls and plans how to take your child away, while smiling over birthday cake. We were parked beneath a sad little tree in a grocery outlet lot, engine off sunlight, filtering through a cracked windshield. Lily hadn't said a word in 10 minutes. I sat with my hands gripping the wheel like it was the only thing keeping me upright. Then I asked, soft as breath, "Can you tell me what happened?" She didn't hesitate. Not this time. Grandma, Grandpa, and Aunt Sable. They don't want me there. I heard them talking in the kitchen. They didn't know I was in the bathroom. She said it like weather, like she was reporting a fact, not spilling the weight of the world into my lap. They were planning something. I didn't speak, didn't blink, just listened. They said I'd be better off with Daddy, that they were going to help make that happen, that if I went back to him, you'd go back to work and start helping them again. Her voice didn't shake, but mine did, inside. Something cold spread through my ribs, slow and suffocating. They said you'd lose custody anyway, but they could speed it up. They said they'd plant something in your room, like drugs maybe. So it would look bad. And then they'd call child services. Silence. The kind that throbbed in my ears. I turned to look at her. She was staring out the window, tight-lipped, still. "And you're sure I asked, though I already knew the answer?" She nodded. "They said it all. That I'm too loud, too much. That the house used to be nicer before. That you're not useful anymore. That Daddy was always the better parent." Something shifted inside me. Not shattered, shifted. Like a house's foundation cracking so slowly you don't feel it until it swallows you whole. She looked down at her backpack. I packed what I could. "There's 2 shirts. I brought your phone charger. I didn't know if you'd come." That broke me. My daughter had packed a bag and prepared to run, because she overheard her own family plotting to erase me from her life. And I, her mother, the one who's supposed to protect her, had been sitting downstairs smiling at a fruit tart. I didn't say another word. I started the car. I didn't go back for clothes, or my toothbrush, or answers. I didn't send a message. I just drove. Straight to the one place I trusted. Travis. He's been in my life since we were 12. He once dyed his hair orange to make me laugh during my braces phase. Never tried to fix me. Never tried to save me. He just showed up. He opened the door in one sock, holding a mug of lukewarm coffee. I said, "We need a place to crash." He looked at Lily, then back at me, and simply stepped aside. That night we slept on his couch. Lily curled into me like a knot. She didn't cry, I didn't either. We were too stunned to break. My phone buzzed 17 times. I didn't check once. In the morning, I brushed Lily's hair, packed her lunch, scribbled a doodle of a crooked cat on a napkin. "You're brave," I whispered. She nodded, didn't smile, just took my hand and walked to school. And of course, they were waiting. My parents, outside the gate. Smiles stretched tight over rotting teeth. My daughter froze. I squeezed her hand. "Go in, baby, I've got this." She ran, and I faced the people who birthed me. "Where have you been?" my mother snapped. No hug, no concern, just confrontation. "You already know," I said. My father huffed. "We've been calling all night. You took her without saying a word. I removed her from a house where people were plotting to ruin my life." My mother blinked. "Excuse me?" "She heard you in the kitchen while you were planning your little custody sabotage." "That's ridiculous," she said, eyes darting. She misunderstood. Did she misunderstand the part about planting drugs in my bag? Her mouth opened, then shut. The flush creeping up her neck told me everything I needed. "You've been stressed. You left your job. You're unraveling. I've been fighting for my daughter, while you plotted to hand her back to a man who threw a bottle at a wall she was standing near." "That's not fair," my father muttered. "We helped you." I laughed. "You mean after I paid your mortgage for years, after I covered your Portugal vacation and bought your espresso machine?" That helped. My mother's eyes narrowed. "This is about money now. This is about loyalty, which you traded for free babysitting and beachside cocktails. We just wanted what's best for her." "No, you wanted what's easiest for you." There was a long silence. I looked at both of them, really looked, and saw strangers. "You want comfort? You'll have it. Starting now. You will never see me or her again. Don't be dramatic," my father said. I turned. "You haven't seen dramatic yet," and I walked away. That night, Travis found me at the kitchen table, still in my work pants arms around a cup of untouched tea. "You okay?" he asked. I shook my head, but at least now I know where I stand. Lily padded into the room in pajamas holding the crooked cat napkin. She didn't speak. She just curled into my side. I didn't cry. I didn't have to, because that moment told me everything I might have lost my parents, but I hadn't lost her, and I'd burn the whole damn world down before I let anyone take her from me again. You'd think after everything, after the escape, after the confrontation, I'd be able to breathe. But peace never comes that easy. Not when you're a single mom with no job security. Not when you're sleeping on your best friend's pull-out couch and using half a paper towel roll as a napkin dispenser. And definitely not when you know your own parents just tried to erase you. But Travis, he never made me feel like a burden. He brewed coffee without asking. He made pancakes shaped like dinosaurs for Lily. He let me cry without trying to fix me. And never, not once, did he say, "So what's the plan?" Because the plan was survival. And sometimes that's all you can do. Lily was adjusting. Slowly. She still startled at loud noises. Still had nightmares sometimes. But she started drawing again. Little comic strips. Wolves. Fighting snakes. Protecting their cubs. Always winning. I didn't ask questions. I just bought her better markers. And then one morning, while I was brushing her hair, she asked it, "Will I have to talk in court?" I froze. She looked at me in the mirror, calm but afraid. "If I want to stay with you, will I have to tell them I swallowed?" "Yes. But you don't have to be scared. Just be honest." She nodded, like it was already decided, like she'd been preparing longer than I had. That night, I curled up in Travis's guest room with my laptop and started combing through documents. I found every text Daniel ever sent me, every threatening message, every "you'll regret this," every gaslighted apology. I dug up receipts, financial transfers I'd made to my parents, travel bookings, the espresso machine I'd bought them that still sat on their counter. I built a timeline, quietly, thoroughly. And that's when I saw it, scrolling through Instagram to check if Lily's school posted anything from the art display. There they were, my parents, Daniel, Sable, on a beach, tan, smiling, drinks in hand. Caption: "Family first. So proud of the kind of dad he is to our granddaughter." I didn't throw the phone, didn't scream, just turned the screen to Travis and whispered, "Well, that explains why they've been quiet. They've been tanning their betrayal." He didn't say anything. He just handed me a cookie. That's why I love him. A few days later, they knocked. Child Protective Services, 9:00 a.m. on a Thursday. Lily was brushing her teeth. I opened the door in mismatched socks. Travis was in the kitchen fixing a faucet with a wrench so tiny it looked like a joke. The CPS agent had a clipboard and eyes that scanned like searchlights. Her partner hung back inspecting the walls like we were hiding contraband in the outlet sockets. "We received a report," she said. "I didn't have to ask who sent it, but I did. Your parents," she confirmed. Of course. They said I was unstable, said I ran off with Lily, said I didn't have a permanent home, that I was exposing her to strange men, which I guess meant Travis, who was currently pouring juice into a unicorn-shaped cup. They interviewed Lily, inspected the fridge, checked the bedroom, asked about routine discipline support system, found nothing, said we'd hear back if further action was necessary. I thanked them with the warmth of a freezer door, closed it, then locked myself in the bathroom and threw up. I knew it wasn't over. Not yet. The court date was set, and my lawyer, bless him, wore a flamingo tie to the first meeting and a grim expression to the second. "Julia, this is serious," he said over a salad neither of us touched. "If your parents testify for Daniel, it won't just hurt. It could bury you." I didn't flinch. I'd already been buried once. Now I was the one doing the digging. They know you. They can paint a narrative: emotional instability, poor decision-making, financial stress. It'll hold weight. "Do you think I'll lose her?" He sighed. "Not if she speaks." Later that night, I told Lily if she wanted to stay with me, she might have to testify. She didn't blink, didn't ask what it meant, just said good, and went back to sketching her wolves. This one had the snakes wearing granny wigs. I almost laughed. Almost. Because something was shifting. They'd come for my motherhood. They'd tried to strip it with smiles and whispers and custody loopholes. But what they forgot is that mothers aren't made in courtrooms. We're made in the moments no one sees, in midnight drives, in couch naps, in juice cups shaped like unicorns, in comic wolves that tear betrayal to shreds. And I was done hiding, done hoping, done waiting to be rescued. They wanted a fight. Good. Let's go to court. The courtroom smelled like old leather lemon-scented air freshener and tension, the kind that sits just beneath your skin, like a warning. Daniel walked in like he was starring in a documentary about misunderstood fathers. His suit looked borrowed, too new, too pressed, too unfamiliar. Behind him were my parents sitting in the row directly behind his chair, like loyal spectators, like they belonged to him now. Sable followed, not looking at me. She didn't have to. I could feel the judgment sliding off her like fog, and I sat with my hands folded, Lily beside me, swinging her legs nervously. Travis sat behind us, steady as stone. When I turned to look, he smiled, half smile. But enough. The judge entered. People stood. The show began. The first day was brutal. They paraded character witnesses. My mother in pearls and practiced poise said I'd always been very emotional. My father nodded beside her like an extra in a courtroom drama. She's always been sensitive, stressed, overwhelmed. They painted a picture of me as a mess, unstable, unfit. Sable chimed in. Daniel's always been great with Lily. He stayed at home. He was patient. I wanted to scream, to stand up and demand. Then why did I leave him? Why did my daughter call me and whisper, "Get out"? But I didn't. I sat. Fingers locked so tightly I left crescents in my palm. They described a version of me that I didn't recognize, one that wasn't real. But to the court, real didn't matter. Perception did. And then, it was Lily's turn. I helped her adjust the mic, kissed her hand when the judge asked her name. She looked so small in the chair, feet dangling, hair brushed back. But when she spoke, her voice didn't tremble. Not once. I want to live with my mom. The judge asked why. Because she listens to me. She makes me feel safe. She's never yelled at me. They asked about Daniel. She paused. He gets angry. He throws things. One time he threw a bottle and it broke. I was there. It scared me. Silence. Even the court reporter stopped typing for a moment. Then they asked the question I'd been dreading. Had anyone else ever made her feel unsafe or uncomfortable? She looked straight at the judge. My grandma and aunt said they wanted me to go live with him, that they were going to make Mommy lose me. They said they'd put stuff in her bag to get her in trouble. Silence again. The kind that cuts. I couldn't breathe, couldn't blink. I wanted to stand and shield her, but she didn't need me to. She was already standing in the fire and refusing to burn. The judge dismissed her with a nod, told her she was brave, told her she could go. I took her back to her seat and sat beside her. She slipped her hand into mine. I squeezed once. She squeezed back. You'd think that would be enough. But the universe wasn't done yet. During the break, I was returning from the hallway when I saw it. Daniel grabbing my mother's wrist. Not gently, not like family, like control. She flinched, tried to pull away. My father stepped in. There was arguing. Daniel stormed off. My mother rubbed her wrist like a bruise that hadn't appeared yet. They didn't return to court after that. Didn't speak, didn't testify again. Later, my lawyer told me they'd officially withdrawn their statements. Apparently, the beach wasn't worth a fractured wrist. Or maybe it was the way Daniel looked when he got angry and didn't get what he wanted. Either way, the tide had turned. My lawyer brought receipts, literally. He showed the court how Daniel had hidden assets during the divorce, vacations, vehicle upgrades, luxury hotel charges under my father's name. It wasn't just betrayal, it was fraud, and it was all tied in a neat bow by the money trail. The judge looked over the evidence, then at me. Miss Lane, do you feel safe with your daughter outside the influence of both your ex-husband and your extended family? I didn't hesitate. Yes, Your Honor. He nodded. Then so be it. Full custody. No visitation. All communication to be severed unless reviewed by the court. Daniel stood, face flushed, sweat blooming through his collar. My parents gone. No goodbyes. No dramatic exits. Just gone. Travis met me at the door, held my coat, carried Lily's backpack. I didn't cry. I couldn't. But later that night, while Lily slept curled next to her wolf plushie, and Travis sat reading in the next room, I finally breathed. It wasn't over, but for the first time in years, it felt like we were safe. You'd think that after everything, the lies, the court, the full custody order, I'd finally get to relax, to let down the guard I'd been holding like a shield for years. But peace isn't something that just arrives with a court ruling. It has to be built, brick by quiet brick. And for us, it began in the most unexpected way, with wolves. Lily's drawings changed. No more snakes in wigs. Now the wolves were curled up together in a den, safe, sleeping, protected. She gave one to Travis, a little sketch of a big wolf with glasses playing checkers. She called him the Watcher. He cried. Denied it, but I saw him wiping his eyes behind a cereal box. We stayed. In that little 2-bedroom rental Travis had called home for a decade. No one said the word permanent, but we all knew. He made pancakes on Sundays, taught Lily how to play Mario Kart. And once when she told him she was glad he was part of our pack, he excused himself to the hallway for a very suspicious amount of time. Eventually, I got a job offer, flexible hours, good pay. Nothing glamorous, but I could breathe. For the first time in years, I could afford groceries without counting nickels. I didn't cry when I got the offer, but I did lock myself in the bathroom and laugh until I hiccuped. We were finding our rhythm. Then came the knock, a tray of pancakes, 2 forced smiles, my parents. They stood at Travis's door like door-to-door guilt salesmen. My mother held the plate like an offering. We thought maybe we could talk, maybe move forward. The pancakes smelled like syrup and audacity. We didn't know what Daniel was really like, my father added. Maybe it's time to get over all of it. I didn't even get the chance to speak because Travis stepped into the hallway, stared at both of them, and said flatly, "You need to leave. Now." My mother's eyes widened. My father looked like he might argue, but then Lily peeked out from behind the wall, nodded, just once, and they left. No tears, no explosions, just 2 people realizing the door was no longer open to them. Later, I learned they weren't doing well. Financial strain, bridge club whispers. Some family members cut ties after learning what they'd done, how they'd tried to frame me, betray their own granddaughter, and then pretend it was all a misunderstanding. Apparently, plotting to get custody back through sabotage doesn't sit well with your mahjong group. As for Daniel, he disappeared, lost his job. Last I heard, he was living in a basement suite behind a gas station, still blaming everyone but himself. And me, I didn't get rich, didn't buy a yacht or move to Paris, but I got something better. Lily. Laughing again. Sleeping through the night. Painting wolves and whispering secrets to her plushie. Travis, whose love came not in grand gestures but in small, consistent acts, bringing home her favorite juice, fixing the leaky sink, holding my hand under the grocery store fluorescents when anxiety hit like a truck. And me, Julia, not broken, not ruined, rebuilt, not perfectly, but truthfully. I still wake up sometimes expecting the worst, but then I roll over and see Lily curled in her blanket, her comic pages strewn across the floor, and I remember we're okay, really deeply okay, and I will never again let anyone take that from us. Have you ever had to walk away from the people who were supposed to protect you? Drop your story in the comments, and if this hit close to home, you're not alone. Like, subscribe, and never forget. Sometimes the strongest move is standing up and walking out.